building a church. He has built it. Now, some say, well, it doesn't matter uh, what you call it, what the name is. Well, you go around different here in this little town of Marysville. Each corner, just about, there's a religious organization. Different names up on it. Now here's an individual that's married. Except in the celebrity world, when we get married, the wife usually takes the man's husband's name. This is like my wife is Hilda Taylor. My name is Rick Taylor. Okay, so you, if she wanted to go by somebody else's name, then she would have to be married to somebody else. But she's married to me. We have the same name. Our children, until they get married, will have our last name. Now, that's pretty easy to understand. So when it comes to Jesus and building His church, wouldn't you think that His name would be upon it always, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the language is, His name would be on it. Again, I'm not an English major, but when you see the Church of Christ, it should, when you go into those doors, Christ's doctrine, everything that the apostles in His Word, within these pages here in the New Testament, are very clear about the doctrine, the things how you should conduct the business of the church, what it should be called, from the music to the elders, to the preacher, to everyone, the deacons, everything. It's all laid out. The Apostle Paul, it's all laid out how it should be carried out, the work of the church. Every aspect of it. He's given Peter the keys to understanding this. What are the keys to the kingdom? Truth. Many infallible truths. In the book of Acts, in Acts chapter 1, there are many infallible proofs. Everything that Jesus has said, his whole life, the church, like I said, within these pages, it's clear. You can understand it. There's no way around it. When He built His church, nothing shall prevail against it. And I will give unto thee, it says in verse 19, the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Jesus made a charge to Peter and to his church to understand that everything that that he says, his words, you can bank on it. You can build upon it. You will get his, the doctrine, the church, everything about it, how you should conduct the church's business is in the New Testament. The Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 1, Galatians chapter 1, the Apostle Paul is writing to the church at Galatia that some warnings. He's making some statements here that, you know, you're gonna have some things come your way, church. He makes a statement here in Galatians chapter 1, starting in verse 6. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel. When you go to these different religious organizations, you go into and you sit down in the pews, and you sit down and you look around and you observe their conduct, you observe their everything that they're going about. They all say that they are of Christ. They are preaching the gospel of Christ. Well, according to the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 1 and in many other places, just like Jesus has said to Peter, I will give you the keys to the kingdom. This is the keys to the kingdom. Understanding, when you go into the church, there should be a certain look. The people should be conducting themselves in a certain way. The truth, above all, should be preached. Well, they say every religious organization is preaching Jesus. I don't agree with that. The Bible doesn't agree with that. Now, there are many versions of the Bible that you can find that agrees with that, but they're not reliable. Within this I use the 1611 King James Version. You can use the New King James Version. Once you start going beyond that, those versions, you can always find some problems. You might use the American Standard even. I wouldn't go any further than that. But the Apostle Paul is giving us the keys to the kingdom. He told the church here at Galatia, I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ into another gospel. Well, you go to these different churches, you see, well, the preacher's up there, and he's a preaching, and he's throwing Jesus' name around. Well, he's got to be preaching the gospel. Well, just because he's putting Jesus and throwing Jesus in there, the truth is not there. You gotta dig deep. You gotta know. You gotta know for sure. You gotta know. How do you know? Well, it's right here. It's in black and white. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to be a Bible scholar. You don't have to go to a school of preaching. You need to understand for yourself, within the confines in the New Testament, that the truth is this. There is no other church. There is no other gospel. If there's any other gospel, the warning is this. Verse 7. The Apostle Paul says, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of so-called preachers, wearing the name pastors, which is synonymous with elder. Understand, you just don't get everything in one sit down. When you start to study God's Word, there's many things that you have to understand. But basically, it's this. If you stay in the confines of this word here, having the right version, sound version. The gospel is this: that you won't be troubled by any doctrine, any